What's up, Michelle here, and this video is about ways of coping with guilt. And it's the video that my followers voted for when I asked them to vote. If you're new to me, hey, I'm Michelle Therese. I'm an author, I'm a passionate mental health campaigner, and I am an abuse survivor. Every week I ask my followers what video should I do next. I give them some options. They voted. This is the one that they voted for. If you want to get involved in voting for the next one, subscribe to my channel and check the community, because I always put the questions on there, or check my other social media. That's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, all of them. Anyway, guilt. It's a human emotion, and I'll say this, I'll open with this statement. It's good to feel guilty. It's good to feel guilty. And what I mean by that is, it's good to want to change, because guilt is your mind's way of saying, I know what I've done's wrong. I know what I've done's hurt somebody, or, I know what I've done isn't right. And if you've never felt that, that's not good. You need to grow. You need to improve. Humans are always changing, they're always growing, they're always learning. So it's a good thing to have human emotions. It's just like anger, it's like sadness. It's needed for us to change and grow. I felt guilty thousands of times in my life. I felt guilty not so long ago, when I wasn't honest to somebody, and that led to them having hurt feelings. And I really looked back and I thought, you know what, I can do better than that, and in the future I'm always going to be straight up 100% honest, about my true intentions. And so I've learned from that. I've learned how to deal with the people, and I've learned more about myself, because I don't think it's just a case of, right, apologise and we'll forget it. You need to really address why you've done what you've done. It might be, you've said something hurtful to a friend or a loved one. You might have stolen something. You might have speeding in your car. You might have gone to jail. You might have had a physical altercation with somebody. It might be something more serious than that. You might have cheated on a partner. Whatever you've done, it is in the past now, and you can't change it. But you can learn to understand why it happened, and if you don't want it to happen again, you can learn ways of dealing with anger or sadness or whatever led to that, so it doesn't happen again. With me, I learned a few different things. Let's say you've got an anger problem, okay? And, you punched the wall and it damaged a hole. I'm coming up with this off the top of my head. You damaged a hole in the bedroom, and, it caused an argument. So obviously, the root of the problem is the anger. You can, for instance, you can then apologise and say, look, I'm sorry that happened. I realise that I probably need to work on my anger, and I'm moving forwards. That would be one way of coping with the guilt. You've addressed why, you've come up with a resolution, and you've apologised to that other person that your behaviour is affected. It's good. Like I said, it's good to feel guilt. The same as anger. I've said this in my other videos. Anger's a good emotion because it's human. It's what you do with that emotion. That's the problem. I feel angry sometimes, but I don't punch people, or, I sit and I write. I write a lot of dark, angry poetry. I do rap music as well, although I don't upload it at the moment. And that's a way of coping with my emotions. Guilt, it's your mind's way of saying, I shouldn't have done that and I feel bad about it. But don't let it ruin your life. Don't let it take over completely. Don't let everything you do be, oh, I'm guilty, oh, I'm guilty, oh, I'm guilty. I don't want to go on now because I'm guilty, because that's not a good place to be, Once you've accepted that the situation has happened, once you've apologised to that person, once you've tried to make amends, I mean, there's nothing much more you can do except from change your ways, change your behaviour. If you've, let's say, you've cheated on a partner or you've hit a partner or whatever, I'm coming up with this off the top of my head, and they say, sorry, but I can't forgive you now, leave me alone or whatever. That's their right and their choice, and you need to respect that. And you need to learn and move from that and think, well, that was really quite a shocking thing and I really regret doing that. And that's okay. But I'm going to make sure that that never happens again and move forward and learn from that. For me, I used to self-harm a lot. And, I've got the scars, unfortunately, all over. And I was struggling with the abuse that went on when I was in hospital. I was locked up in if you probably know if you're my subscriber, but if you knew, hey, I'm just going to briefly go over what I went through and what I write about and I'm so passionate about. I was locked up in a UK mental health hospital at 12 and I was subjected to years and years of sexual, physical, financial and mental torture. And when I was released from there, I got very, very little support, and I turned to self-harming and drinking quite a lot of alcohol and mixing with dangerous individuals, to put it bluntly. I've made some attempts on my life, and I self-harmed a lot, and I used to feel guilty about that. I used to feel guilty for self-harming, but because I thought, you know what, I'm ruining my body, and I eventually stopped, but I don't feel guilt about that now. I look at it and think, well, these scars just show the struggle that I've been through, and there's no need to feel guilty because I've got through that difficult point in my life, and like I said, there's different ways of looking at things, some humans are scared of change, and I always say to people, if you want to grow, if you want to be successful in life, and if you want to really, really enjoy your life, you need to accept that change is inevitable. Nobody wants to just sit and eat the same cornflakes every day. Just sit and do the same thing over and over again every single day. That is so monotonizing. Change it up. And it's the same with your emotions. You can't expect to understand your emotions all the time for the rest of your life. There's going to be situations that test you. There's going to be situations that make you think, oh, what am I going to do here? And you're going to make mistakes again. And that's life. And I love life because I've survived my suicide attempt and I realised the beauty of life. I've realised that life isn't all about social media and phones. It's some of it, but the real beauty of life is out there. It's in the trees, it's in the sky, it's in the nature. It's in the things that we overlook. We overlook the fact that we're on a rock in a galaxy with millions of other stars in a universe that's probably got billions of galaxies and millions of other planets. We don't know if there's other life out there. We don't know anything about really the universe that we're living in. We've got oceans that are miles deep. We've got all these beautiful animals. We've got so much that's free in this life just to read about and learn about. And people don't look past the phones these days. They're always on about Snapchat filters and trying to get the most views and making themselves look like anything but themselves. And I think it's a bit sad, actually, that this immediacy to be wanted and liked, that's kind of taken over the world. And a lot of people are getting guilty feelings and stuff. Like, a lot of people are like, oh, I feel guilty about my work ethic sometimes, and that's not a healthy kind of guilt. There's healthy guilt and then there's unhealthy guilt, and I get a bit guilty for doing, stuff. I mean, I think I've not written enough today, I've not done 2,000 or 3,000 words, or I've not done enough work on that degree assignment or whatever, and I punish myself. I used to punish myself, I don't now, but I used to be like, right, well, no leisure time for me, so I'm just going to have to study right until I basically fall asleep. I used to do that, you know, and I used to say, well, if I don't get the manuscript finished by a certain time, I'm not going to eat my favourite food. And it just got worse and worse, that kind of thing. And I kind of nipped it in the bud when I thought, well, that's absolutely ridiculous. You know, I'm setting unrealistic expectations, and I need to do what I want to do, and what makes me happy. And if I want to have a break, it's okay to have a break. And I felt guilty about that. I still struggle with that idea. I do. I still struggle with the idea of, no, it's okay to just watch Lost for a bit on TV, or, you know, it's okay to just chill out and watch a bit of TV and have something to eat. It's okay. And I still do have major issues in that. I think I've got a bit of a workaholic mentality, like work. Um, and like I struggle with guilt around that. I think, you know, I shouldn't be doing this. I shouldn't be sat watching TV. I should be grinding. Do you know what I mean? I should be making my next book, or I should be doing another video, and it gets me down. But I remind myself, look, that isn't healthy. I'm a human being. I'm not a robot. I'm not a software that's like bing, 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 work, numbers. I'm a human. And you need to remind yourself that as well. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're human. You're not a robot. I hope. I hope you're not a robot, Alexa. It's okay. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to struggle. People are going to test you. And you're going to say stuff that's going to upset people. And you're going to do things that probably going to upset yourself and others again. But that's because you're human. And if you weren't human, wow. If you aren't human, you know, thank you for watching my videos, you know, because it's I appreciate it. So this is how the human species works. But yeah, I'm gonna wrap this video up. Thank you for watching. I hope that it helped you in some way. You know, if you are struggling, you know, please remember that absolutely nothing stays the same forever. I always say this to people, absolutely nothing. You know, the person you are today is different tomorrow. You've learned something, and even if, you know, you learn something new every day, and in 5 years' time, God knows where you'll be, you know. It's not going to be the same as you are now. Like I said, 5 years ago, I was in a homeless hostel, planning my own death. Then I was in prison. Then I was out of prison. Then I was in prison again. Then I was slicing myself, really planning on a serious death for myself. But I survived and I succeeded, and I'm loving life, you know. Feel your guilt. Feel it. Feel it in your body. Hold it. Accept it. Understand why it's there and try and change why that's happened, and then let it go. Let it go. It happened, move on. I've committed some crimes in my time. I've assaulted a few people, and I do regret that, but I don't let it eat my life up. I was in a bad place then, and I shouldn't have done it, and I regret it, and I've learned, and I've not done that ever since. And that's the way you need to look at what you've done. People make mistakes, whether big or small. But anyway, I'm gonna go. Thank you for listening, and also thank you for watching and hearing my story. It's cathartic for both of us, I guess. If you've enjoyed, click that subscribe button, and you can find me, if you go in the description, you can find me on all of my other social media stuff. I'm going to go and get a coffee now. So, good night, good morning, or whatever. It's been Michelle Therese. Oh, and if you go to my website, michelletherese.com, you can read a completely free 15-page preview of the upcoming memoir of my book, How I Survived the NHS Abuse Scandal. That's a working title, but that's what it's about. Okay, bye for now, and thank you for listening, watching.